Welcome to the Corporate Warrior Training Program. We're going to be talking about mastering energy management and preventing burnout. So, who's this information for? This information is designed for professionals dealing with stress, burnout, and fatigue in high pressure environments. So, if that sounds like you, stick around. If not, well, I'm glad you stopped by. So, a little bit about me. I'm Greg Swanson, and I'm a leading mental strength expert. And in addition to helping business executives, entrepreneurs, and athletes and first responders develop grit and resilience necessary to achieve success they demand, I was also in corporate America for 25 plus years. I was a sales executive having California and Hawaii. Yes, I know it was tough, but having those as territories. So I understand what the grind can be like as far as being an executive, trying to balance family life, trying to balance your own health life, and some other things. So I'm very familiar with the stress, the fatigue, and burnout that comes with a corporate job or even an entrepreneur. Um, One of the great accomplishments in my life is I survived an avalanche where I was really put to the test physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it was that shift that started me thinking about, this burnout and fatigue as well. My specialty is helping professionals create purpose-driven life and achieve peak performance. So, does this sound familiar, right? Many professionals suffer from burnout, fatigue, and chronic stress without even realizing it. I was one of those. I had the whole state of California and Hawaii, and I had to keep going to see my clients and do other things. And it just thought that that was it. And I would put off taking care of myself till later. My day wasn't managed correctly. So I didn't realize it, but that's exactly what I was experiencing was this fatigue, burnout, and stress, and these states are often mistaken for a lack of motivation, poor time management, or personal shortcomings. And I thought all of those. I thought, well, I got to get a better handle on my calendar. I got to get motivated. I got to get excited. And I would try all those things to get myself up day after day after day, not realizing that this is just a chronic effect of, fatigue, stress, and burnout. In reality, these symptoms are psychological and physiological responses to prolonged pressure. We can only take so much before we have to do something. We either break down, shut down, or we just quit and go look for something else. So, what we're talking about is unleashing your inner warrior, right? We want to take you from burnout to bold leadership. Now, leadership can be individual or with a team, right? Don't be confused that if you don't have anybody reporting to you, you can't be a leader. You be a leader and then people will come and follow you, right? We want to ignite your energy, your clarity, and your power and become a corporate warrior you were meant to be. So here's the problem, right? You're successful, but you're exhausted. That was me. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to get to the gym because I didn't have any time in the afternoon. And then I was so tired that I didn't get to the gym. So I wouldn't get to the gym. I come home tired. And I was successful. I was doing really great in my position, but I was exhausted, right? And so every day feels like survival, not leadership. You're there drudging it, checking phones, checking texts, doing this before you go to bed, first thing when you wake up. So you think you're successful because you're busy, but you're not productive, but it feels like survival, not leadership. Right? So burnout is real and it's stealing your edge. It's not something that's psychologically wrong with you if when you're experiencing stress, fatigue, and burnout. It's something that happens after prolonged pressure. Everybody gets it, and there's nothing wrong with you in doing that. It's just how do you manage your environment? How do you manage those things to relieve it? And that's what we're going to talk about here in the Corporate Warrior program, right? So let's talk first about burnout, because if we don't define what it is, how can we recognize it? So burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress and overwork. I would probably say that if you're listening to this point, You are or have experienced burnout at some point, if you look at the definition. Now let's take a look at fatigue, right? A deep, persistent lack of energy that does not improve with rest. That is fatigue, right? So, oh, let me go home and get 8 hours of sleep. I'll feel better. You wake up fatigued. You go to sleep fatigued. You go to the meetings fatigued. You lead your. This is just part of this overall pressure that we deal with every day. And so, unlike normal tiredness, fatigue is chronic and affects both physical and mental functioning. And this is huge. And I want you to be honest when we're going through these definitions. Really take stock of how often do you feel these things, and don't put them aside like, oh, it's just temporary, it's just this. No, these things build and a cumulative effect happens, and then we start doing things to compensate it, like drinking 10 Red Bulls a day, 5 cups of coffee, getting 12 donuts, whatever it is. We start to think our food and our intake will help solve the problem, and it does for a little bit, an hour, and then we crash and we're back with fatigue again, right? And then there's stress. It's a physiological and psychological response to high pressure situations, right? It triggers that fight or flight mode. And that is when your cortisol gets released, your adrenaline gets released. And we are fighting that every single day, right? Stress is real, and stress probably happens to every single person sometime throughout the day, because it's that fight or flight mode. When we're asked to get something done under time, under pressure, we don't have the time to do it, we feel stressed. And then we go home, we feel stressed because we didn't get stuff done at home that we wanted to. So the work flows into the personal life, the personal life flows into the work life, and then we have, and this is the burnout, the fatigue, and the stress that we're experiencing, that we're just labeling with, oh, I just need more time. We all want to say we need more time, but realistically, we all have the same time, all of us. Some people do it better than others. And again, that's what we're going to go through in this program, is understanding how you can manage yourself, manage your day. And we're going to get into that to alleviate and prolong or dispel, right, stress, fatigue, and burnout. But stress, chronic stress, can rewire the brain and harmful overload your health, right? It rewires it, because neurons that fire together wire together. So if we're under stress, we have specific thoughts that go with it, and those get sealed into place because we're thinking of them. So without even thinking about stress, we feel stress because that's what we're conditioning our brain to feel. So we want to make sure we eliminate all of that. So here's what we're talking about. We're talking about a shift, and this is a shift. Imagine waking up driven again. You just wake up excited. You can't wait to get to work. You can't wait to get to the gym. You just are full of enthusiasm, right? You lead from clarity, not chaos. You know exactly where you want to go, what you want to be, how you work with your team. It's so crystal clear. There's no hesitation in your thoughts or your actions. This is not another hack that I'm talking about here. It's a transformation. Hacks are temporary. Transformations are permanent. So in the Corporate Warrior program, we're talking about a permanent transformation to eliminate, reduce stress, fatigue, and all the things that go associated with it. So when you start to overcome burnout, fatigue, and stress, let's take a look at it, because we've identified what you're feeling. And you're like, yeah, I identify with stress, I identify with burnout, I identify with fatigue, and there's several other symptoms that we could go through, but you know what they are. But let's look at what happens to your life when we can eliminate those things, right? Once you break free from burnout, fatigue, and chronic stress, your life will transform in powerful ways. It's amazing what can happen, right? You gain control, clarity, and confidence, and your professional and personal lives thrive. Just before I became a coach, and I've been coaching now for over 20 years, when I was in corporate, and I realized that what I was doing wasn't working, and it wasn't I had to do more of it, because if I did more of it, I got more things that didn't work. But once I realized how to manage my day, manage my time, manage things correctly, and it's just not managing them, it's a mindset to think differently. I would get up early. I would get to the gym enthusiastic. I would see my clients. I started crushing my numbers. Everything fell into place. And I've been helping clients do the same thing for over 20 years, working with companies like American Express, Google, Microsoft, US Air Force, all of them to work with overcoming this burnout, fatigue, and stress. And it changes lives. When your business life or professional life changes, your personal life has to change along with it. So what I'm talking about is we want to look at your ideal day as a table. And this is the heart and center of the Corporate Warrior Training Program. It requires 4 pillars. Requires an AM routine, requires a work routine, requires an evening routine, and it requires a sleep routine. And if you look at these 4 pillars, you are in 100% control of 3 of them: your morning, your evening, and your sleep. And I would venture to say that you probably have at a minimum 25% control over your work. So your morning routine is to help you get energized, focused, and have a positive mindset. Checking your texts doesn't do that. Checking your email doesn't do that. Checking news doesn't do it. I'm not saying you don't do it, but you want to do it later on in the day. When you wake up, you want to have some movement, a physical activity, hydration, journaling, gratitude, all of those things. And you can say, "Oh, I don't have the time for it." Every single one of those would take 1 minute. You could start a morning routine for 5 minutes. Guaranteed, you put down the phone and don't check emails and text, you can start a morning routine. Then the evening routine is to prepare for the next day. You know what you have to get ready. You know your clothes, you know your schedule, you know whatever has to be done. You get ready, you pre-plan the next day, and then you review your current day, what happened, what went well, right? We want to acknowledge the gratitude. And then it's also time to decompress, right? And the sleep routine is for healing, rest and healing. Your work routine now is to become effective and efficient. Effective is doing the right things. Efficient is doing those things right. And this is where a lot of the challenge is that people are doing the wrong things at the wrong time, and they end up staying late, bringing work home to get the stuff done that they're supposed to be getting done. Instead, they're doing reactive work first thing in the morning from home, at work, and coming home and continue to do it because they haven't managed that work part. But when you put all of those together, you have your ideal day. But keep in mind, you are in control of 3 of those pillars. Whether you think it or not, I guarantee when we talk, I can show you specifically how you can control 3 of those routines: morning, evening, and sleep. And I also can guarantee that I can show you how you can control 25% of your work routine. So this is the heart of the Corporate Warrior Training Program, is looking at this, because when we have these routines, we build our energy, and it's our energy that's lacking, right? Because of stress, fatigue, burnout. It's our energy that's lacking. And when you can have a routine, and all those routines are to support your energy, natural energy, then things can start to click. So this is really the heart and soul of the Corporate Warrior Program. And so what you'll gain is you'll gain energy boosting routines tailored just for you, right? When I work with my clients, we start off with some big umbrellas: movement, meditation, but then I work with it and get tailored made for each one of them. You're going to develop mental toughness and emotional resilience. And if you're not familiar with that, mental toughness has 4 C's to it: control, challenge, commitment, and confidence. You will get that, and resilience will help keep you going when things do get tough. Right? And you're going to be proactively without burnout. So you're not going to force yourself to go through things. You're proactively going to get things accomplished, which will help build your energy, and you're going to be able to get more done in less time. And you're going to reignite purpose and leadership on fire, right? When we get so burned out, we don't know why we're doing what we're doing, and we get laissez-faire, we get melancholic. Why bother? Once you get your energy back and you can see the purpose in what you're doing, life purpose and work purpose, then your leadership will catch on fire. So let me just share one result, right? This program changed my life. This is Steve, a CEO, worked with him for many, many years and his team, and it completely changed it. They have more energy, deeper focus, stronger presence in all the meetings, better leadership at work, and peace at home. So here's the 12-week journey in a nutshell, right? Weeks 1 to 3 is the foundation and reset. We want to understand, we want to reset, we want to kind of clean up, some of that stuff that you're thinking that you have to do. Clean that up, reset it, and build a foundation. Then weeks 4 through 6, we talk about physical and mental optimization. Those are only two of the quadrants that are required for optimum energy, right? It's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And then we go from weeks 7 to 9 as we work on your emotional and leadership resilience. And this helps you take that energy and fine tune it and create laser focus as to what is important now. The military has that acronym WIN, W-I-N, what's important now. If we don't know what's important now, we're just going to do junk, right? But once we get our energy up there, we're able to get the laser focus, you'll be able to define what's important now and execute on it. And then we're going to look at weeks 10 to 12. We're going to develop your purpose, passion, and power. Why are you doing this? And get your passion, if this is why, and then that's going to reclaim your power. So that's an overview of the 12-week journey. What I want to say is that spaces are limited, and this isn't for everyone. If you are already saying you don't have the time, you don't have this, you don't have that, you're going to continue where you are. I guarantee it. It's when you commit to changing that you want to change for the better. You want to get more done in less time and enjoy life with your family, yourself more. So this isn't for everyone. If you want to stay where you are, struggling with burnout, fatigue, stress, great. Sooner or later, hopefully you'll break out of it. But this program will definitely help you. And this isn't for everyone, right? Personal coaching, that's what I do, is for deep transformation. If you're ready to transform your life, personal and business, this program is for you because there's deep coaching associated with it. Now is the moment. Burnout doesn't wait, right? You can say, well, I'm going to wait. Burnout doesn't. It's burning down right now, right? You're experiencing fatigue. You're experiencing burnout. Decisions have to be made whether you want to continue on that road, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, or do you want to flush out the burnout, stop the fatigue, stop the stress. And so I will, it's 100% satisfaction guarantee. I stand behind your transformation. I know what can be done. The challenge is if you do it, right? So I know the coaching that is produced and given to you will produce the results you're looking at if you take the actions, right? So what I have is I have an online program for, self-driven, self-guided. Try that one for yourself for 30 days, risk-free. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. But do it for 30 days. Whatever the homework assignments are in the lessons in there, do it. Don't just join and then 30 days you don't do anything and go, hey, it's not working. No, you have to work it just like anything else. And you have nothing to lose and everything to gain, right? And so there will be links below on where you can join immediately. And there's another option we'll go over in a few minutes. So here's it is. Right? You want to step into your life you were meant to live, don't you? I mean, do you really just consider where you are right now the best you have? If that's it, then don't you want it any better? Don't you want less stress, less fatigue, less burnout, and be able to lead the life you were meant to lead, right? So join the Corporate Warrior program. And again, there'll be links below, but this is it. Take back control. You were not born to be burned out. You were not born to experience fatigue. You were born to create wonderful life for yourself, your family, your coworkers, and other individuals. So lead with power, live with purpose, and perform with passion. So now we have that decision, right? You can stay where you are and go down that road, and that's fine. Everybody has their own path to live, or you can join the Corporate Warrior program. Now, here's the two options when you come to that. If, let's say, great, Greg, I'm ready, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, you can do self-directed, right? And there's a link down there. You join the program, you take it, it's self-directed, self-paced, awesome. Or you could take it with assisted coaching and guidance, and that's bringing me in to help you. And if that's the case, what I'd like you to do is email me, and I'll show you my email, and contact me so we can set up a call to talk about it, to make sure the coaching, assisted coaching, is the best one for you. But either way, I encourage you to take care of yourself professionally and personally, and join the Corporate Warrior program so that you can relieve yourself of that burnout and that stress and start to live an empowered life. So again, thank you for listening to this. If you have questions, please email me at coach@warriormindcoach.com, especially if you're interested in doing the guided and coached, assisted coaching part of the program. If you want to do it yourself, please look at the link below. Go ahead, join it, and I welcome you to a transformative life.